In the heart of one of the most hostile landscapes on Earth, Death Valley, California, lies a phenomenon that has puzzled scientists, explorers, and storytellers for over a century. Vast stretches of cracked desert floor, desolate and lifeless, suddenly come alive with an impossible mystery. Massive stones weighing hundreds of pounds glide silently across the desert surface, leaving behind long-etched trails as if they were carving their journey into the earth itself. But here's the question that keeps echoing: how can rocks move without anyone or anything pushing them? Through the first sightings, the earliest known reports date back to the 1910s when prospectors wandering through the Racetrack Playa, an ancient dry lake bed, noticed trails behind stones as if they had shifted positions overnight. Locals whispered about them, calling the area cursed. Some claimed the desert itself was alive. By the 1940s, researchers had documented the phenomenon, but the explanation was always missing. Tracks ran straight for meters, then curved abruptly, sometimes even zigzagging like an animal trying to escape a predator. Stranger still, stones that started together would sometimes diverge, taking different paths, as if they were making choices. Whispers in the desert stories grew. Native American legends spoke of spirits haunting the desert floor, pushing the stones as messages from ancestors. Campers told of sleepless nights when strange creaking sounds echoed across the playa. A few swore they saw stones glowing faintly beneath the moonlight, shimmering as if alive. One tale tells of a hiker who left his tent at midnight and returned to find a boulder that had not been there before, sitting less than a meter away from his sleeping bag. Its trail stretched for over 20 feet, perfectly aligned with where he had been resting. Was it just paranoia? Or something darker, something watching? Theories and fears, explanations poured in. Some said UFOs were using the stones as markers for landings. Others believed the U.S. military conducted secret experiments using electromagnetic fields to move objects. Conspiracy theorists claimed the rocks were relics of an ancient civilization, programmed to move under celestial alignments. And then there were the spiritual interpretations, that each rock carried a soul, trapped and cursed, wandering endlessly across the desert floor. Science steps in. In the 1970s, scientists set up camp. They mapped trails, measured distances, and marked rock positions. But the desert mocked them. Years would pass and nothing happened. Stones could sit motionless for decades, only to suddenly shift when no one was watching. It wasn't until the 21st century that a team caught movement on camera. What they found was unexpected. Under rare conditions, winter rains formed thin sheets of water that froze overnight. When the morning sun rose, the ice began to break and float. Gentle winds, barely strong enough to be felt, pushed the ice sheets, dragging the rocks slowly, almost invisibly, across the mud. Mystery solved, right? Not exactly. The problem with the answer. Yes, science had provided a logical explanation, but the phenomenon was still wrapped in unease. Why did the rocks sometimes move in perfect parallel lines, as though coordinated? Why did some of them appear to reverse direction, leaving overlapping trails? And what about the countless eyewitness accounts of movement happening on clear, dry nights with no ice, no wind, no rain? Science had given us one answer, but not the answer. The paranormal, edge eyewitness stories kept piling up. A group of campers claimed to hear deep rumbling beneath the playa before the rock shifted. A photographer swore he captured a faint mist forming around stones just before sunrise. When the mist cleared, two rocks had changed places. Local legends even speak of people who disappeared after wandering too far, swallowed not by heat or thirst, but by something within the desert itself. And if the desert can move stones, who's to say it cannot move people? The human mind in the void. There's something else at play here, the psychological effect of Death Valley itself. In the scorching silence, time bends, shadows distort, the human mind deprived of comfort, and sound begins to fill in the blanks. A shifting rock might not just be geology at work, it might be the desert playing tricks on consciousness. For some, those tricks are permanent. People have reported leaving the valley haunted by dreams of stones following them, dreams of trails appearing on their bedroom floors, dreams of something heavy dragging itself closer each night. Modern curiosity, ancient fear even now, tourists flock to the Racetrack Playa to witness the mystery. Most leave disappointed. They see only stillness. But every so often, someone returns weeks or months later to find a boulder in a completely new location. Its trail carved deep into the earth as proof that it was never still at all. It's like the desert whispers. You cannot control me. You cannot predict me. You can only watch. Closing reflection. So what do we make of the sailing stones? A trick of ice and wind? A coded message from a forgotten civilization? A reminder that nature still holds secrets beyond our understanding. In the end, the mystery of Death Valley's moving rocks reminds us of something terrifying and beautiful. Even in our age of science and technology, there are still places on Earth where the unknown rules. Places that resist explanation. Places that remind us we are not the masters here. We are only guests. And as you watch this, remember, somewhere in the silence of Death Valley, even now, another stone may be moving. Slowly, deliberately, unseen, writing its own path across the desert floor, a message carved into the earth, waiting for someone to find it.